Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of my life. Now today I want to talk about something that I have had on my mind. Obviously, if you watched my last episode, the not live version, it's on YouTube right now. I was not great. I have not been great in a while. I had to be honest about myself. I had to be honest with you guys and also with me. It's been a while since I actually analyzed what's going on with my life and actually just like stopped and think about things. And I took the time to actually do that and look into it, and that's what I kind of want to get into today. The main topic today is exes. Can you be friends with them? Can you keep them in your life? And what does it mean to actually let them go? And it's not easy for everyone. I know I struggle a lot with it. And I'm going to go into this. Again, I am not a licensed professional. I can only talk about things that I've read, things that I've experienced. This is more in my own perspective as a human being. I believe that everyone has their own individual stories and their own individual takes on things. I don't believe every single thing is as black and white as we lay it out to be. Everything is complicated. Humans are complicated. Feelings are complicated. Love is the most complicated thing you're ever going to experience as a human being. Like, if you're alive and you love, even if it's friends, if it's family, if it's a significant other, it's going to be complicated. It's not black and white, and it's always going to be different with each individual and every person you express it with. Like, everyone I love, I've loved differently. I've never loved someone the same way twice. I've always said that, and it's always true. And with that being said, certain love you hold on to. And I believe, like, if you truly love somebody and it was true, it was kind, it was good to you, it improved your life, it doesn't go away. It just changes based on priorities, based on your life, and based on certain situations and circumstances. And sometimes that's easy for others to let go of. Some people are able to move past that. Sometimes their priorities do shift and they're able to kind of go along with their life. And some people, they are not able to because they hold on to that love too close, where they're not able to deprioritize it. And that's one of the things I want to talk about, because that goes back into my video I had yesterday. I have a couple of talking points today, so I took notes. Yay, I did research and things. That's my thing. Like, when something's going on with me, I'm just like, we need to figure this out now. And I'll be like, boom, 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 boom. I'll list out shit. I'll take notes. I'm just like, we're gonna find out why Andrew broke in, because Andrew loves Andrew. We gotta make sure Andrew's okay. The team Andrew all the way. So I'm gonna talk about a couple of notes. One was review why I was sad, but also go into the aftermath of that. Because the aftermath of that, the person, my last relationship, we will name him E. Again, this will be probably one of the last times I mention him on this podcast. He did reach out to kind of talk about everything, and we had a whole conversation. It was a great conversation. I will go into it deeper, but then I want to go into my relationship with other exes as well too, a fear of letting go, and just where I am in my general life at this standpoint. So when we go into why I was sad, so a lot of reasons, but mostly it was a triggering point lately has been my breakup. I have not been over it. I've been not able to fully process it because I like to keep myself busy. I'm just like, it's fine. If I keep myself busy, I don't have to fucking think. I'm just like, I just will read books, I'll write, I'll do these things. But my problem is I overwhelm myself to the point of exhaustion where I can't even think or I can't even formulate. And it ends up taking a toll on me. And it did. It kept breaking me down. And then when I had those moments where I was alone and had to think about my life and think about what was actually upsetting me, it hurt and it broke me, because I thought about my relationship with E. I thought about the fact that he moved on. I thought about the fact that just like I am no longer with him, and I knew what I had to do. And the reason why I was very upset, the reason why it hurt me so much, the reason why it always hurts me so much that he moved on, it wasn't that I saw him with somebody. I'm just like, who that bitch? That bitch should be me. Like, what he doing with my man? No, that's my man. That's mine. I deserves that. I deserve it. No, it wasn't because of that. It was because of the mere fact that I have a big fear of losing somebody. Even if we're no longer together, I have a huge traumatic fear of losing them. I had a fear of losing E, and that's why I was really breaking down, because like I knew that he's moved on, he's met someone new, he's experiencing a new love, a new experience with somebody else. And seeing that made me realize that I am going to lose this person. This person's no longer mine. I'm no longer him. I'm going to deprioritize from his life. and I was not ready to have him deprioritize from mine. Even though I saw him moving on and everything, I just wasn't ready for it. So I didn't allow myself to process it, and I'm still processing the idea of processing it, you know. Um, and that was my biggest thing because I have a fear of losing a person. A motorcycle just rode by, um, and I've struggled with that for a while, and that's really what it comes down to on why I was so upset, because I knew the next steps of what I had to do is that I had to cut this person out of my life. You know, I had to cut him out. I had to not think about him. I not had to just let him go. And letting him go devastated me. The idea of him not being in my life, not being able to talk to him, not being able to contact him, not having him being able to occupy any space in my life, that hurt. And it broke me, you know, because I knew eventually he would do the same to me, and that's just how life works. That's a part of life. You're going to deprioritize love. You're going to experience different love with other people, and you have to let it go. Not saying you no longer love that person, you no longer care for that person, because yeah, like I said before, if you truly love a person, that love still carries with you. Um, but you have to let them not you have to let it not affect your life to the point where you cannot move on from it. So I'm gonna go into a couple of talking points I have with the conversation I have with E. I wanted to bring this up first because I know if he watches this podcast, he gonna watch the first 20 minutes and be like, "This shit long. I ain't got time for that." I'm like, valid. So I get it. So one thing we established that it is important to give space, and I think if you if you want to form any long communication with an ex or a relationship with an ex or anything, you really have to take that space away to reevaluate just like what that person means in your life, who that person is in your life, the importance of that person in your life and where you can go from there, and then later on be able to establish boundaries, what that means for each other. And you also have to be honest with yourself. Like, do you want to be with this person or have this person in your life because they mean something to you and you'll always care for them and you respect that it cannot be romantic and you're okay with that and you've moved past those feelings? Or are you with this person because you still hold on to those feelings and you still hold on to hope that there is a possibility that you guys can be together and you still want that future with them? And you're settling for this with hopes of the long term of you guys being together. Ooh, nip slip. Oh my god, things are just popping out. These titties just blasting. I feel like Rihanna. Um, and that is one thing that we both did agree. We ended up agreeing at the end of our conversation, but it's complicated. There's more to it than that. Uh, but first, I want to establish the fact that that fucking musty bitch E, yes, E, I'm talking about you. If you're watching this podcast, you're a musty hoe. The reason why is because when we were first breaking up, me and you, at the beginning, I said, hey, if we're gonna go through a breakup, if we're not gonna be together, I need a clean break. You cannot talk to me. You cannot message me. We need to not talk to each other, because if you talk to me, I will still have hope that we will get back together. I will still be instilled with the idea that we have a chance together. So you need to let me mourn. You need to let me process, and you need to not contact me so I can experience that, because I know how I operate and I know that's healthy for each of us. He was like, okay. And one of us, I'm not going to say who, but we know which one, kept breaking that, kept finding reason to talk to me, kept finding reason to message me, kept checking in on me, kept doing all these things. Boom, boom, boom. So where I am is that, okay, we're talking and everything. So I have a little bit of hope. Even though just like, I know I established we're over, but I'm just like, okay, maybe we can still get back together. Maybe we can still work. Those residual thoughts, because those feelings are still strong, especially after a breakup, are still strong. And then I keep getting reminded that he's either moving on, he's either dating somebody, or we're just no longer going to be a romantic partnership together. And then I'm just like, bitch, this is why I asked for no contact. And then after our conversation last night, after we were on the phone for like 3 hours, he explained his relationship, he explained his feelings for me. We really talked about it. We talked about the relationship with his new partner, who he also knows about, and I'll talk about that a little later, knows like about our feelings for each other and what have you and all that stuff. At the end of all that, after I gain more clarity towards us, the relationship, everything, and I kind of have a better understanding of it, so I'm like more accepting and I kind of accept the everything, and that really just like did a lot for me. I'm like, okay, cool. At the end of that, he's just like, I think we should not talk for take a break for a bit to heal properly. And I'm like, what a fucking brilliant idea that is. Who came up with that? Was it me? I wish I thought of that. You hoe. When I read that message, because like that message came the next day, because after we kind of like talked about some other things, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? So this goes back to what I said. It's important to take space away from an ex, in order to form a clarity on like where you guys move forward. Because here's the problem. Even though that was a conversation we needed to have, even though that conversation did allow me to process and understand the relationship, the problem with that conversation is it should have been established way earlier, when he was first getting involved and romantically involved with this person. And that was like about like 2 months ago. So that's when it should have been established. That's one. Two, we should have not had any contact with each other whatsoever. Besides that, prior and afterwards, we should not have been talking. We should not have been in communication, because the more we communicate, I know how I work, and I'm somebody who I love hard, I love deep, and I love forever. And you talking to me was going to instill in me with that hope that we have a chance, that we can work, that we can process. And then I get hurt because I realize the situation, and I realize the establishment of the reality of it is that we're over and it's hard. So that was the problem with the relationship. Constant communication, or just communicating with an ex or someone you feel so deeply involved with, you guys don't have time to detach, and you guys do you guys still prioritize too heavily on your relationship, on your feelings for each other. So it doesn't, maybe someone's able to move on, and maybe someone's able to establish relationships with other people, but that's not always equal, and that does not equate with both parties or everyone involved, which goes into his relationship. So he did talk about his relationship. And he is somebody who is open and honest about everything. So he did tell his partner his my feelings for him. He did he did see a conversation that we had when he was first getting together, and I did find out that he was in a relationship. We had a long conversation about that too. It should have been the conversation we had last night then, but we had it now. Um and his partner really felt guilty about, if he felt guilty that he felt like he was in the way of me and him. And that's not, hey, good evening from London. Hi, I'm going to read these comments in a minute. I just want to get through this section. I'm going to address all these comments. But that's not fair for him, because this is a third party who has nothing to do with me and him, with me and E. This is a third party who has been supportive, has been kind, and is truly a good person for E. Like, I don't wish him any harm. I think he's doing great, but he shouldn't feel guilty about loving somebody that somebody else loves. And that's the thing too. Like, when you have strong feelings for a partner or an ex or anything, you have to take all parties in consideration. You also have to consider everyone involved. And that includes friends, family, and that includes new partners. It's not fair to that new partner, you know? Um, and yes, his new partner does have an understanding. I don't know the full logistics of it, because, we didn't get into full details. We did agree that like every conversation that we had that night and going forward, we will talk to his new partner, like if like anything in the future and anything what have you, just to be completely honest and open about everything, to at least establish that. Um, because the way we both operate with love is in a way kind of similar, which is kind of makes the healing process a little different. It kind of makes it a little complicated. So this is one thing I've realized about myself for years, and just kind of really established over like the last conversation I had with E. The way he described how he loved, because one thing I asked him is like how he was able to move on so quickly, because like he started like dating people like very shortly after we broke up. And for me, that hurt, that devastated me because it made me feel like I can only relate to it the way I love. So I'm just like, okay, if he's able to date somebody, he never really loved me at all. If he's able to do something with somebody else, he never really cared for me. Like his love for me is does not equate. Um, but the way he loves and the way he operates is that he loves everyone in a portion of his heart indifferently. Um, he's able to establish different connections and different intimate connections, emotional connections, and sexual connections with different people and different varieties without losing any love for a person or not establishing. So while he was mourning, while he was grieving, he was able to process his feelings for me while also establishing new feelings because those were in separate components of his heart. Um, so uh I'm gonna get into that because like yes, but no. But yes. So he was able to like start new relationships and start other things with other people. Because like before he met his current partner, he was like dating around. He's a hoe. I knew this wouldn't like this. I mentioned this in episode 1. That man loves to love. I mentioned to him as well too, because again, anything I say on the podcast, I say to a person in their face. I never talk behind anyone's back. But that man, he loves to love. He does. He like even with, like I said this before. Like when we met, he was talking to somebody. We started talking. Yeah, we started talking, and then I gave him advice on the person that he was seeing, and then we ended up dating like immediately after, like almost like basically at the same time. So, like, I know that man. I know how the man operates. I know how he loves. And I have a better understanding of it of last because of last night. I mean, not last night, 2 nights ago. I don't know what day it is. So I have a better understanding of how he loves and how he operates. And the thing is, his love style is very similar to, and we talked about this before, I think I mentioned this on the podcast, a very polyamorous love style. He's able to love multiple partners at once. He's able to love and still process things while loving other people. He is a polyamorous person. Maybe he isn't in a polyamorous relationship. I'm going to address that in a second. He's not in a polyamorous relationship, but he does love in a polyamorous way, and that's the thing that he has to be honest going forward, and with himself, his other partners, um, and something I have to establish with myself as well too, because being with him, talking to him, and unlearning a lot of things that I was brought up on, because again, I was just very traditional. I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna meet somebody. I'm gonna have kids. I'm gonna have family. I'm gonna ride that one. I've said this in many videos. You can look in the past. Just like, I want one dick for life. I only want one D. That is it. That's for me. Ride that off into the sunset. I have said that statement several times in the past. Because that's what I established that what love is. You be with one person, you be with one individual all your life. You establish a family with them, you establish a new lifestyle with that person, and that is it. And I've been unlearning that because I realized that that is not me. And when I continue to be in monogamous relationships or like, well, I haven't been in that many, but like when I was in my prior relationship before him, I knew that I felt an unfulfillment because one, me and that person were incompatible. This is my relationship with C. You watched from episode 1. C, incompatible. Sexually, we had a lot of issues there as well too. Our morals were completely askew, but we had such a deep love for each other. We still have a deep love for each other. But I knew I couldn't, like, this is not the one person I want for the rest of my life. And I don't think, to be honest, I don't think I have, shut up, we, yes, morals. Um, I don't think I see myself in a traditional relationship going forward. And I've said that with him. And again, my relationship with E was open. So he was, he was free to have sex and date other people. I was free to have sex and date other people as well too. And honestly, it was a complete relationship. It felt great. We were open and honest about things. My one rule was I just don't want to know what you do, because you can do whatever you want. I just don't want to know. Just because I know I trust you. I know my love for you. You know my love. I know your love for me. That's established. Nothing else really matters. Mr. E, Mr. Ed Nigma. Yes. But the ground rules were established, and that was fine, and it was a perfect relationship. And honestly, look, and even when he was talking to me, my crazy girl brain, and I'll talk about my crazy girl brain. I'm the crazy ex-girlfriend, I know this. My crazy girl brain was, he was talking to me, and he said basically he wanted me to be able to move on. He wanted to be able me to be able to be happy with somebody. He doesn't understand how and we had to talk about like our different love styles. How he is able to move on and process things and doesn't understand. It feels like I'm limiting myself because I don't really want those things. I don't want a relationship. I don't want to be with anyone right now. I'm not looking to be with somebody. I don't really want to be with somebody, to be honest. Um, and he took a while to kind of understand that, and he still kind of maybe not fully understands it, but I don't think we both. There's certain things we understand about each other, certain things we don't, but you can agree to disagree. Um, but he wants me to move on. He wants me to be with somebody. He wants me to be able to be happy with somebody and not wait for him. But my crazy girl brain while he was talking was just like, he's so nice. He's so sweet. He cares so much about me. We can make it work. We can make it work. We can do it. You know, it's fine. He cares about me. He loves me, in which he does. Like, we both love each other, and that's what made everything hard, because like we had a perfect relationship. It didn't work because of distance and other, like, that's mostly the factor. And just like where we are in life, and I'm gonna get back to that. Like where we are in life right now, that's why it didn't work. And that's the only reason. Nothing negative. No one was abusive. No one was narcissistic. No one was like showing toxic tendencies to each other. He wishes I was toxic, so it was easy for him to get over me. Uh, but unfortunately, no. So we like my ideal situation was just like, okay, you know what? Here's the thing. You date this person or whoever you want. We still date, and I can date whoever I want. We still date. Like, just why can't we just have a polyamorous relationship? Why can't we do what Twilight was supposed to do? Let the wolf and the vampire fuck. That's what I want. That would have made so much. Look, I'm sorry. Like, this is my fantasy world. Because I always said, like, look, my ideal relationship is just like, I want to date a bisexual guy who has a girlfriend, and then we're a throuple. That's my dream. That's my dream relationship. But I know that's not the case. Fuck, I wish it was. Anyway. But it is important to establish the realization that even though you hold out for a person, you can't let that stop you from moving forward. And that's what he's not doing. You know, he does love me. He does care for me, but he's able to move forward and able to go on. It's easier for him because, again, he is more polyamorous. He's able to love more people. Yes, he's still mourning for me. Yes, he still misses me. Yes, he still keeps wanting to check up on me. Yes, he still keeps wanting to message me. Yes, that's why we broke no contact several million times, which we should not have. But the problem with me is that I love him too much, and I will still wait for him. Even if he doesn't want me to, I would still wait for him. And even we both agreed that in the future we do want. Oh wait, hold on. Todd Belliard, a 1964. Thank you for the sub. Ooh, yay! I'm gonna address these comments after this section. I'm excited. Yay! But we both established that we do want each other in each other's lives. We do not see each other as friends. We cannot be just friends. We're always going to be something more. We don't know exactly what that is yet. We still have to work that out, talk about that, message each other about that. But after we take time to properly heal from like what we are, because we know that the love that we have for each other will never die. It will never go away. But we have to allow it to change. And that's not easy for me personally, you know, because I love very hard. And I love, like I said, I love forever. If I love you, it's because I love you forever. If I love you, it's because I saw a future with you and I was holding out for a future with you and I wanted to pursue that with you. And if I love you, know that I still love you. But I know that changes because of priorities. So I'm gonna, before I get to the next contact, the next part of my thingy, I'm gonna read out these comments. Mega 254. The love should diminish to the point where you should be able to love from afar and be able to move on to new relationships. I do agree with that. Yes, you're able to do that. You have to let love diminish. You have to let it deprioritize from your life. And that's something that I know I have to work on because it's something that's very hard for me. Just because when I love, I get the. It's very funny because like it's look again, humans are complicated and make no goddamn sense. So like I think we need to stop establishing. This is my personal thing, and this is why I love therapy, but also I am the modern mentality that everyone has with modern day therapeutic practices and terminology gets a bit bamboozling a little bit is that the fact that we live so much with labels and then we abide by those labels as if those are things that that identify us. Because the thing that humans are obsessed with the most, and the thing that humans are the most protective of, is their identity, who they are as people. And this is my big like this is gonna be a whole video. This is my my thesis, my actual psychological thesis that I have to finish writing up. But it's that humans are so protective of their identity that they need to be able to protect it, establish it, and make it be known. And it's becoming more in the forefront now. We're seeing that a lot with like people really being protective of their identities, who they are, establishment, making these small subcategories and everything. But the thing is, humans are complicated, and yes, you can be categorized, yes, you can be labeled to an extent, but after a bit, the labels should not matter. You need to move past that because labels cannot identify you because you change, people change, love changes, everything about you will change. Nothing is the same. I am not who I am 10 years ago. I'm not who I am 2 years ago. I'm not who I am last week. I'm not who I am last night. I am a very different person every time. So when it comes to that, when it comes to like some of these terminologies, is that everyone gets very prone to attachment styles, what that means, love languages, what that means, like, and they think that that is the only thing that is set in stone. It's like, this is my love language, this is my personality type, this is my attachment type. I hate to break it to you guys, but those things change. You know, after you've worked on certain things, after you've done certain things and certain practices, or different things and different opportunities happen in your life, and different situations and different relationships happen in your life, those things all change. It's not the same. I hate to break it to you, but that's the reality of it. Yes, you can have an anxious attachment style. Yes, you can work on having a secure attachment style. I used to have a very anxious attachment style. I used to be very I used to crave love. I used to want it. I used to just like see like, oh, is he texting me? What happens if he doesn't? Blah blah blah. And just like, but like I end up having a very secure attachment style because like I don't I don't really care that much. Like if you like me, okay. If you don't, okay. Like it sucks, but I'll be okay, you know? It's not a big deal. My problem comes with after a breakup because I become a love addict, and we're gonna talk about that later. But yeah, I think we hold on too much to labels. So, going on to another comment from Mega, maybe moved on fast because is able to process his feelings faster. Yes, that's very true, and that's why we talk about our different love styles, because that's what I had to understand is that he is not me, and he doesn't love the same way I love. So he's gonna love things differently. He's gonna love at a different rate. He does. Like I said, and I established this the last time he spoke. It was that he said this before. He loves fast but intense. Just like it's very just like rapid and intense. It was just like short relationships, sure, but like they are intense, they are passionate, they are fun, they are great, they're amazing. But then he's on to the next one and he's fine. You know, yes, he takes time to mourn. Yes, it's not as easy to move on. Yes, he still holds on to ties to people, but he's able to process it a lot better than someone like me, because I love long but savory. If I love you, if I want to establish a relationship with you, it's because I see longevity with you. I see something long term with you. And if I don't see that, I will not pursue you. I will not pursue something just because they are hot, just because they're attractive, just because we like the same things. Like, no, it has to be someone that really, again, reflects like what I love, has the traits that I love about myself, and can bring out the best traits of me as well too. And if you don't have that, I will not want to pursue a relationship with you. But all my exes have at certain points. You have not found Mr. Right. This is from Pixel Pete. You have not found Mr. Right yet. there is someone out there for everyone. I believe that. I do. And I do appreciate that. I do believe this, but like how I am now, I do believe this person does reflect all the traits I wanted in Mr. Right. And maybe in some future he is. But I think the right person for you is the person who is willing to be with you. Right now, he's not that person. And will he ever be that person? Maybe, maybe not. But I cannot hold on to the future of him in it, of holding out for him. Um, this comes from Crazy Cookie, and I'm going to talk about the next section. I always friend zoned everyone when I was growing up. When even if I did like them, oh no, don't do that. I was a military child, and we moved every 3.5 years. I knew I didn't want a long distance relationship. Now it's crossed over into my adult years to where I friend zone people, and that's something you probably have to like kind of rework and kind of like reestablish, and just be able to let yourself love, let yourself in. Like it's fine. Like you're an adult, you're able to process it, you're able to and I know it's gonna take time and everything, but like you deserve to be loved. You deserve love full time. You don't have to feel like you have to cut it off and just keep them as friends. Like, no, let yourself, if you feel like this is a person that can work for you, go for it. So I'm gonna talk about a little bit my relationship with exes. So my thing is, and I have my note says, why can I let their love go? And what does that mean? All right, so like I was saying before, and something I learned about myself is that one, I also have a non-monogamous love style. But my thing is just like, yes, it's short and savory. Yes, I love very infrequently. It's very rare that I love somebody, but it's very intense when I do. Because it's just like, if I love you for life, and that's true. I do hold that dear. There's not a person I loved in the past I don't still love, and I've talked about a couple of my exes before in episode 1. Like I'll talk about a couple of them now. So like my relationship with my first ex, Kevin, y'all know him. He was on my YouTube stuff. I still love that guy. I can't say I don't. Am I in love with him? No. Um, is he as important in my life anymore? No. But I have a love for him. If you ever need anything, if you ever want to talk, if anything, I'm always there. Like point blank, it's fine. Do I still see a future with him? No. We've established that that's not a thing, and it won't be a thing. And I think when you take space away from your relationships and you're after they end with an ex, you're kind of able to process just like, okay, what does this person mean to me now? And my love for Kevin, even though it was fun, it was great, it was the first like real love relationship I ever really had. It wasn't intense. It was a first boyfriend. Sometimes that's intense for people. It wasn't for us. We're fine. We moved past it. He has other people. I have other people. It's not, I don't even remember the relationship half the time. I actually was recently going through old videos and I'm just like, oh yeah, we dated for a long time. That's crazy. Wow. That's funny. I don't remember it at all. But however, that's an example of someone who just like, you loved and you're able to process and move on from. And the next exes are the opposite. So that relationship with Kevin was like 12 years ago now, I think, when we ended things, like 2015. Was it 2015? 2015. So it was only 11 years. 11 years. 9 years. 9 years? I thought it was longer. Oh, we started dating 11 years ago. We broke up. Okay, yeah, there we go. Makes sense. All right, cool. So that long ago. And that was fine. Like we broke up, and I was like, whatever, it's fine. It was kind of amicable anyway, because we knew. I knew we were not gonna last. I was like, all right, we can break up. It's fine. However, my next relationships were people it was more intense, and people I hold on a love still. So D loved him to death. He is a great boyfriend, and again, reflected a lot of traits I love about myself. It brought out a lot of traits I love of me as well too. But like it didn't work because he didn't want it to work. That's why he tried to push me away. But also tried to breadcrumb me as well when I got too far. It was a very toxic relationship between both of us. I was obsessed with him. I wanted to make it work. I wanted to have a future with him. Because when I'm in love with somebody who I was in love with, I am willing and going to do anything possible to make it work. I will not lose you, because that is my biggest fear. When I'm in love with you, I cannot lose you. And I worked really hard to try to keep them, and that wasn't good because we were not in a healthy relationship afterwards. My relationship with C, which was a 2-year relationship I had after with him. Um, he is. I always say he's one of my best friends now, but that's not true. He's much more than that, and he's someone I just truly I love. I love. I'd be lying if I said I didn't still love him. I don't still care for him. I care. I want to protect him. I want to make sure he's okay. I again, same thing how E feels about me. I want him to move on. I want him to have a like relationship, a partner, what have you. Um, but I love him. Like he's one of the most important people in my life. Like I love that guy. Um, and that is a relationship that's like a little bit more complicated. It's also one that formed because we don't work romantically. We know that we tried it. We've done it, that song and dance a bunch in our relationship trying to make it work. It don't work, you know, but I still have deep love for him. He has a deep love for me. And we've established that. Um, yes, there are boundaries in place. Yes, there's things that we don't do. Yes, there's things. And our relationship basically now is what our relationship was when we were together, but with the exception of no sex and sleeping together. Other than that, the relationship's basically the same. We don't talk as much, but we talk pretty frequently. I see him very frequently. So it's a less normative relationship that you would normally have with an ex. And I can admit to that. And for now, I think that is okay for both of us because that's really what we feel. Um, and when it comes to being friends with ex and really evaluating, one thing you have to establish is that sometimes a love is intense and it can't be a friendship. And you really have to talk about what it can be. And that's my relationship with E. And we know we cannot be friends. We have too deep of a love for each other. I can't let go of him. But I also know, like, even in the future, if there is a possibility of us talking and being anything to each other, there is always going to be a small, even if it's not as big, even if I prioritize him in my heart, there is always going to be a portion of me, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't, that still wanted him and still was willing to make it work. So that's where we're at now. We're trying to establish, and we're taking a break from each other. But I know me and I know how I operate, and the thing is just like I still hold on to that, which I know I have to work on. Oh, my voice cracked. Oh, okay, puberty. Hello. Is that a pimple? Oh yeah, a little pimple. That's fun. Cool. So with this comes to a big fear that I have is the fear of letting go. And the thing is, again, I have a very secure attachment style. Cool, why not? Great. But I think attachment style also changes based on situations, based on relationships, based on a person. Because when I'm with a person, I'm very secure. I'm just like, you do you, you do me. I love having my space. I love having my time. I want you to do the same. Do you, boo? Don't be around me all the time. I hate that. I'm fine with that. Like, okay, like we just talk, we hang out, we're great friends who have sex. I'm like, this is a great relationship. I love it. However, when a relationship ends, I do have the same effects as you would with an addict. I become Zendaya from Euphoria. I'm just like crying over pills. I'm bursting through doors, trying to get to my man again. I'm just like, no, we can make it work. We can make it work. Like it's bad. It is bad. And I know I get like that because there are highs and lows. There are periods where I'm fine, I'm okay, and I'm just considering, maybe I can like see what's out there for like maybe I'll just like take a little peek. And then there are days where I'm like absolutely devastated. I'm crying in my bathroom. And I'm just like, oh, what happened? It comes in waves. I have relapses. I do, even though I guess I established a no contact. Yes, I was the one that was trying to follow through. Yes, I didn't want him to message me because like I know how I would be. At the same time, I wanted him to message me. I wanted a reason to talk to him. I was waiting for it, because like it is the thing about love, it's the same thing as a drug addiction. And I developed a strong addiction when I'm in love. When I'm in love with somebody, when I'm losing somebody, when I'm no longer getting that high of that person in my life, I become an addict. And like any other addict, it's very important for me to get help, and it's very important for me to actually take the proper steps to move on. So again, continuing no contact. Having my periods where I'm just like feeling completely depressed and deranged, but be able to talk to someone about it. Um, and it is not easy for me. It's not easy that something I can do because again, I'm full with the fear of losing that person. So why the addiction? Why am I addicted? So everyone is addicted because addiction usually stems from something, you know? It usually comes from sometimes like a hereditary gene, sometimes like genetics, DNA, um, other things as a means to escape something, a means to like be happy, a means to like look for happiness in something. And a lot of people usually, if you look up online, if you do your own little independent research and things, it's like you will be in love with somebody and you will have this feeling that because they are the source of your happiness, they are the thing that's giving you joy, they are completing you. So like losing that person means you're losing that part of you, or you're losing um that feeling of just like being with that person, and you're losing your own happiness. That's basically what it comes down to. Like that's what a lot of people feel. Why are these messages happening? No, not now. So sorry, I had like a bunch of messages going off. Um, so you really just have to like establish. I lost my train of thought. Getting back to it. So, yeah, like a lot of people are seeking some sort of validation when they lose love, or they get validation from love. With me personally, it's not that I am feeling like I don't have enough in my life, or like I'm not a complete person. I love me. I am a complete person, and I'll talk about how that's also my downfall. Um, how I do love myself. I do care about myself. I do provide my own happiness. Like I know you're in control of your own happiness. You got to make yourself happy. I know how to make myself happy. I love being this. This is a lot of work that I'm really proud about. I love everything about me. But the problem is I'm unhappy with my life, and that is really what it comes down to. Because I thought about this for days. I was doing research, I was looking into things, I was thinking about why do I love this man so much? Um, Not only because, like, yes, he was the perfect person for me. And I always said that, like, I didn't want to be in a relationship. I didn't want to find love. I don't care about those things my normal everyday. I just don't. I don't care about finding love. I don't care about finding a partner. If it happens, that's cool. The door's open. If I see someone or meet somebody, that's great. But it's not a priority in my life. I don't give a shit. I don't. But I had to establish this with him as well. It's not that I wanted a partner. It's not that I wanted a relationship. I wanted you. You gave me so many and showed me so many traits that I didn't even know existed. You improved my life in ways that I didn't even know couldn't be improved on. These are things that I didn't know I could experience or wanted to experience or knew could formulate. I literally wanted to be in a relationship with you because I just wanted to be with you. And that is it. I wanted to be with E. Um, and that is basically it. And the thing is, and I told him before I suffer from depression. And towards the end of our relationship, he also said that, like, you know what, it's funny, this whole time since we've been dating, I've never actually, you seem like you've never really had a oh my god, my voice, sorry. You never really had a depressive episode. And I'm like, you're right, because you really, it just, you got just like made my life better, you know? Because like, yes, I still get depressed on my own, but it doesn't take away from just like, my life and just like, who I am. But like, I have depression, but like he just was able, by just being him, but not even him trying or anything, not putting any effort, he was able to like help me deal a little bit better with my depression. Yes, I can handle it on my own. Yes, I know I could reach out to people, but he just naturally made it so that I didn't really feel depressive episodes as often, or if at all. Um, so that was a great feeling. That was a euphoric feeling. And yeah, I love that happiness, and I love that happiness. But the thing is, it wasn't because I felt unhappy about myself. It was because I feel unhappy about my life. And I mentioned this in my last video, is that I live my life for everyone else. I do not live my life for myself. I do things for everyone else. I don't do things for me. I don't establish too much for myself. I prioritize my friends, my family, work, everything, but nothing that I really truly can call mine or my own, which is a problem. Because, like, you only live your life for you. You're the only person that you see in your life forever. You die with yourself. You have to take care of yourself. It's very important that you take care of yourself. You're very, very important that you prioritize you. I don't do that. And I've noticed that in not my relationships, but in general in my life, I don't prioritize me enough. And even when I am in relationships in the past, not with him was different. I was like a normal person. But in the past, I do prioritize a lot of the other person, their happiness, their wants, their needs. And on top of that, then I prioritize the wants and needs of like my family, fulfilling those. And on top of that, I overwhelm myself with work, so I'm not dealing with too much, or just like I know I have financial stability, so I'm not worried about those things. I put myself where I'm trapped and I'm not happy with the end result. And I realize that like now in my current like state of like life and where I am now, it's just like I'm just not happy with how my life is because I feel like I deserve so much more. Um and the thing is I never treated myself the way I felt like I deserved. And I just talked over all these points. All right, great. And someone did mention before and they asked, do you see a dating pattern? And I said yes, but I didn't fully understand exactly what my dating pattern was until I realized that I was unhappy with my life, just like how my life is. Not unhappy with Andrew. Andrew loves Andrew, but Andrew's not giving what Andrew deserves. Um, so yeah, my dating pattern, again, I say the same thing as a joke, but kind of serious. Just like, I usually have a thing for insecure people. I don't know why. Just like they don't seem insecure at first, but then just like, oh, those insecurities be coming. Then I love the compliment. I love to like make sure a person feels good. So I'm like, I will make them feel as special as possible. I'm just like, you're the most special person in the world in a unique way that's unique to them. Um, and it usually works, we're usually great. That's fine. But the problem is, um, I don't do that for me. And the thing is, when it comes to my dating pattern, and I fully believe that you are exactly what you reflect. You give what you get. And what you put out into the world is what you're going to get back into you. Like if you want a partner of certain traits, you have to be that partner of those traits. You have to fulfill that in your own self. Like if you want a person who is outgoing, a person who's fun, a person who like will make decisions and stuff, one who is like very financially stable, then you work on you being that person for you. Because again, you're going to be the person that you have in your life, and that will draw in somebody. That mentality that you now establish with yourself will let you see those qualities in other people. So if you want certain things of a partner, be that partner, and that partner will find its way to you. That's how that works. You can like also like put this as if you're a spiritual person, it's the same. It basically equates the same thing as law of attraction or the law of the universe. With me, it's more psychological, where just like yes, you end up looking for the traits that you want in yourself. The ones that you want in a partner, you see in yourself, and you reflect. And that those traits that you now have, you're able to see in other people. Which I have done with my partners. And all my partners who I've been with, I never can say I've been with like even like people like I dated for a bit, but like never really fully established a relationship with. I can't say I dated a bad person, except maybe one. He's a liar. He is a liar, but he met me at a bad time in my life, so it makes sense why I wasn't cognitive of what's going on. But yeah, he's a pathological liar. But everyone else really great. And things like these people are great. I can't say anything bad about them. Yes, certain things didn't work. Yes, the relationship that like ended at certain points. But they all did have a certain thing in pattern and a certain pattern. And no, it wasn't just insecurity, but it's that again, you get what you put out. And the thing is, like I said before, Andrew loves Andrew. I love me. I love who I am. I love everything I worked for. I love the person that I am. I think I'm a beautiful person, great person, kind-hearted person, the exact person that I would love to love me back. But the problem is, I don't show myself that love because I prioritize everyone else. I prioritize my friends. I prioritize my family. I overwork myself, and to the point where I'm not taking proper care of myself. I'm not taking care of myself the way I know I deserve. So with that being said, the thing that is always the pattern with the people that I date is that they also feel the same exact way. They feel that, like, just how I feel like I don't treat myself the way I deserve and I deserve better. Every relationship I've had, and this is something I really came to terms with and realized today, is that every relationship I've had is that they always felt that they couldn't give me what I wanted and I deserved better. That was always what it came down to. Even my relationship with E. The reason why we didn't work, yes, because of distance, but it's also because I was willing to put in the work and I could like move down there, establish everything with him, do those things, and then just like start a life with him. I was willing to do that. It was fine. I was financially able and willing to do so. It was great. I could plan it out and everything. Just give ourselves a year, work it out, and then boom, migrate down there. But he didn't feel like he could give me the what was, equivalent of that. So like he puts it this way, like if I went down there to live with him, he would have to get me the house. Because he has to be able to equate it. And he did feel like he couldn't give me what I deserved. My relationship with D, the person I was like messing around with, he always says that I was too perfect and I was great and there was nothing wrong with me. He couldn't give me what I deserved. My relationship with C, my 2-year relationship, he really tried. I think he put in the most work ever with like dating anyone, but it's because he was not able to give me what I wanted, which is why I had to end the relationship. So like no one was able to actually give me what I wanted, but no one actually was able to give me what they felt I deserved. But I'm also never give myself what I feel like I deserve. That's the pattern. That's the pattern that I established. That's the pattern I realized. And that's why my relationships end up being the way they are. Because everyone always says, even E is just like, you live in, hold on, he's very ethnic. He's like, no, you live right in New Jersey. You live right near like New York City. Like you can find someone, like you're gonna find 20 unless almost said his name. 20 different E's to be with, and just like what have you. But I'm like, yeah, okay. Yes, there's attractive people here. Yes, there's nice people here. But like, again, a relationship is more than one person. It's just like also how that other person feels about you. But also, that's not the point. Even if there is, you put me in a room of 1 million people, I'm only gonna like one. You know, and that person has to reflect what I put out. So in order to get myself in a stable relationship when I'm ready to be in a relationship, and I know I am ready to be in a relationship, it has to be somebody who treats me the way I feel I deserve, but I also have to be the person to treat me the way I deserve. And I have not been doing that for years, which is why my dating pattern has been very similar and very much the same with everything. And it leads to unhealthy coping mechanisms, like when I was dealing with like breakups in the past or anything. Again, I overstimulate myself to the point of exhaustion. I lack self-care. And also, this is what I did when I was younger. Well, not younger. Well, yeah, younger. Not recently. But like validation through sex. I'm just like, I'm sad. Fuck me. Which I think is always like, you never have sex for validation. Never have sex just to feel something or just like get moved past. No. Don't develop unhealthy sex. Sex is fun. Sex is great. Sex is beautiful. Sex is fucking gross. But like, no. Make sure you're having sex because you want to and you're willing to, not to get over or to feel something. Don't do it. It'll make you sad. Trust me. So I'm gonna go to these comments by Crazy Cookie. He was funny in a good way, but the comments were yikes in the comments section. It'd be like that. Well, Crazy Cookie as well too. The emotional roller coaster ride is strong battle mentally. Yeah, it is, especially getting over a relationship, and also when you realize that you do have addictive tendencies when it comes to a relationship is not great. Just because again, highs and lows. Like this morning, I was like yesterday morning I was okay. It was right after the conversation I had with him. I was like, okay, I was fine. And then we had like a brief like conversation following up on that. And then that's when he agreed, just like, okay, like, we need to take a break to establish and heal. And I was like on my high because I got fixed. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I got my little rush. I'm talking to him. And then just like he said that, and I'm just like, I'm sad now. Not depressed, but like I wasn't doing great, And then today, a bit highs and lows. I woke up fine, and then just like a little slump, and now I'm like back. It's just like, it's like, and that's just how it is. That's just how getting over anything or dealing with anything is. Crazy Cookie again. As long as we bounce back from depression, it's okay to feel that way, but man, it is tough. Yes, it is. The thought of what you wanted keeps you playing with your head at the worst time in your life. That's very, very true. But it's also important to like not have it, which is why I like to back away from establishing new relationships when I'm feeling a certain way, especially when I have deep feelings for somebody else, because I don't feel like I can fully give myself to another person. Um, just because, like, yes, I do and accept that, like, yes, I can love multiple people. I do love very, very hard, but like, I prioritize love. You know, if I want to establish new love with another person, you have to be able to take the priority spot. And right now, somebody is in the priority spot. So until that is down, then I could feel someone else there. Like, I'm not gonna say I will never love E. I'm gonna always love him. I'm always gonna love him. I may always be in love with him. Um, I always am gonna love C. I'm gonna love D, even though he sucks. You know, I'm gonna love these people that I love. I'm going to love them forever. But I can't let their love take such a priority in my life that's just stopping me from living my life or being happy with somebody else. If I meet somebody else or if I want to be with somebody else, because right now I don't want to. Not for me. Um, going back to this, and yeah, going back to that is because I am a very selfish person. I'll admit to that. I'm selfish. And Dr. Raman also talks about this in her book. Hold on, let me get her full name because saying Dr. Raman sounds silly. Dr. Oh no, it's Dr. Ramani, not Dr. Raman. Andrew, why can't you spell right? Dr. Romani Dervasula. Dervasula? Dervasula. She talks a lot about in her books about dealing with narcissism and getting over narcissism. And I'm a child of a narcissist. Like, my whole entire life has been about serving another person, making sure another person is happy, being blamed if another person isn't happy, being fearful of abuse if another person isn't happy, mental abuse, not establishing an identity until I was like late in my teens. I'm just like, I was not raised to be okay. And then my mom at the same time was always just like, why do you always say yes to something? Like, always. You always say yes to things. You gotta stop being a people pleaser. I'm like, mother, I was raised to be this way. You were a part of this. You should know. I love that lady. I just, some of my parents are just like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It was fine. I'm just like, mom, you're literally an abuse victim, and same. Like, lady, it wasn't great. Yes, no one was sexually assaulted, because that's what she always relates to, like something being terrible. Like, oh well, at least you didn't have that. I'm like, at least I didn't have that, but like everything else was pretty shitty too. I'm sorry. um Parent denial are the real yeah, parent denial is funny. I love that lady to death. She was a great parent, but Jesus, her with a narcissist was not great. So yes, I'm a selfish person. Dr. Romani talks about this in her books, but she also talks about the idea of being selfish. Yes, sometimes it's important to be selfish. It's important to put yourself first. And yes, it is selfish if you deny others of being able to love you. And yeah, I do that. I do do that. I do do that. I do. I do that. I do deny, at least at this point in my life, others the opportunity of loving me. But yeah, yes, people have talked to me. People have opened up to me. People have offered to take me on dates, do this whole thing, whatever. I'm not saying a long list of people, because I'm just like, I'm realistic. I don't put myself out there. Also, I'm a little bit of a weirdo. I talk online to strangers on the internet for fun. So, not saying. But yes, like, people have asked me out and everything, and I just don't allow them. I either don't allow them to give me the opportunity, or give them the opportunity, or I just am not really feeling it, or it's just not something I really want. I feel like if I really wanted a relationship to be in a relationship, I could be in a relationship, but I don't want that, because I would rather be alone. I'd rather be by myself and wait for something that I really feels uplifts my life, than to just be with somebody to be with somebody. Like, if you're not giving me exactly what I want, because again, I can be alone. So like I'm not losing out. Like if you I don't have exactly what I want, I'm not settling for less. I'm just like, that's fine. If that means I end up 84 years old on my deathbed and I didn't love a damn person after E, I'm just like, well, we had a good run. I'm fine. I'm good with that. But yeah, I am selfish. I am a selfish person. I am hyper independent as well too. That comes with having to again grow up in a narcissistic environment, but also having to establish your own identity and be self-reliant in a lot of ways. And I have been, and that's because I had to kind of learn to protect myself, learn how to support myself, learn how to cope with myself. And that even followed with my coping mechanisms when I deal with depression or I deal with some sadness or anything. It's like everything is self-involved. Um, and even with my relationships, I don't, I sometimes don't let a person fully in. Well, actually, this was in the past. I'm a lot better now. But in the past, I didn't let a person in because I felt like I could handle it on my own. I could do things on my own. I could do things by myself. And I also have a tendency of dating long distance. This ties into both hyper independence and my unhappiness with my life. Um, so both reasons. So like when I'm in a long distance relationship, it's great because it's a perfect balance. That person is always there. They're a phone call away. They're a FaceTime away. We can talk. We can voice messages. We can sext like crazy. The sex thing is great. The sex thing is great. I love it. I love it. Because like my thing is I love the idea of sex more than sex sometimes. I'm like, this beautiful. Beautiful. But that I'm able to have that person, but I'm also able to have my space. And it's great. Like I'm just like, I'm able to have the best. If it was the best of both worlds, I can just do me and that person can do them, and then we can do each other. I'm like, this is chef's kiss. Like I always said, like, oh, I never saw myself living with a person either. I'm like, I do not want that. Because when I am alone and I don't have a love established, I'm a very selfish person. When I am not in love, when I'm not feeling love for another person, I am selfish. You know, if I'm not in love with you, I'm a selfish person. I'll admit to that. When I am in love, like my relationship with E, my relationship with D, and even a little bit my relationship with C, that changes because you become more of a priority. I prioritize you, but also you give me the respect that I want. And I then when I then open up and see that for you. Like E, I saw myself living with, I saw myself moving in with, I saw myself living there. I saw myself having a family with him. I see these things and this is something I don't normally think in my normal brain and every day. But with him, I wanted those things. With D, I wanted those things. But C, I was good with just us just like hanging out like 3 times a week. That's good for me. But with E, that was the future I wanted. I had that future established. And I think that happens with in the depending on situations, depending on your relationships, is that what you want changes, what your needs are changes, and what you're willing to give also changes. And with E, I was willing and ready to give him everything because like that's what I wanted. That was the future I wanted. That was what I wanted. And I knew that. But also long distance relationship plays into the unhappiness with my life. Is because I don't like where I live. I'm gonna say that first and foremost. I do not like who wants to fucking live in Jersey willingly. I'm sorry. Do you know someone who's just like, yeah, you know, I live in Jersey and I love it? No. And if you are, you're crazy. You're a crazy person. I'm sending the authorities to come help you. No. Like, I don't want it. I don't want no part of it. Absolutely not. Like, I don't want to live in Jersey. When it comes to dating in the gay world, your only opportunity is to date in New York City. I do not want to live in New York City. I do not want to move to New York City. I don't want to be around New York City. I like to visit New York City. I do not want to live. I've spent my entire life in New York City, growing up younger and what have you. I am ready to leave. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to establish something deeper. And I don't think I'd be able to really fully be in a fulfilled relationship if I am where I am, if I continue to be where I am, because like I'm not happy here. I'm not fulfilled here. The only reason why I stay here is to be with my niece and be close to my niece. And that is it. Like my friends are great, that they're fine, but not enough for me to stay here. My other relationships, I don't really have. People I dated, long distance. I have no reason to be here. My job, replaceable. I don't even need that one. I'm thinking about quitting tomorrow. Like, let's be real. I'm not happy where I am. And I don't think I'm going to be fulfilled enough to be in a relationship or anything or establish anything with anyone until I'm able to have that happiness where I'm just like, okay, I am where I want to be. I can work on an actual life with somebody. Um, because when it comes to dating everything and how to get like how these men get me, like how E got me, right? So I messaged him because of cosplay work. Like I saw he followed me. I thought he was very attractive, point blank. And then I saw he did cosplay work. I thought his cosplay was really good. I instantly messaged him about it. I was like, oh, this cosplay is really cool, blah blah. Where'd you do it? All this other stuff. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for love. I wasn't looking for anything to happen. I just thought he was very attractive. I looked at his stories before I messaged him and like all his archives. I thought he was really cool. I thought he was funny, which are all things to get me. I love a funny man. I love a hot funny man. Hot funny cool man who cosplays. Like dream. So I'm just like, all right, I gotta message him because I'm like, I thought he was funny. I thought he was cool. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for love. I wasn't looking for anything. I'm just like, I just want to see what you are. Maybe I want to see what you like look like naked. Maybe that could happen. Or maybe we could be friends who get naked. I wanted to get naked with him. I really wanted to get naked with him. That was it. Was I planning to fall in love with him? No. Did I want to fall in love with him? No. Did we fall in love? Yeah, it was bad. And he ended up being like the biggest love I ever have in my life, and just like love I cherish, like, and I always will. But the way these people get me is that they show me the amount of affection that I feel I deserve. You know, they show me what I feel like I deserve. I'm just because, like, again, Andrew loves Andrew, so person has to show that they are willing to give Andrew exactly what Andrew deserves. Even if I don't, which is a problem. Andrew has to give what Andrew deserves. But if another person does, then I'm just like, okay, worthy of my time. Come, peasants, dance for me. And that's usually how it works. And I end up giving them the love that they deserve based on the love they give me. You know, I love hard, I love heavy, and again, I love forever. And when I am with somebody, as everyone I've dated says, I am the perfect boyfriend, which I'm like, great, cool, but you love me. And I do hold that phrase into account because I just like, yes, I don't try to be a perfect boyfriend. And that's one thing that some people do. They will be in a relationship to try to get a validation of being the perfect partner more than wanting to be the perfect partner for that person. It's like they care so much about being the perfect boyfriend, being a good boyfriend, being an established boyfriend, having somebody who like looks at them with high appraisal and validation, rather than wanting to be better or wanting to be a good partner for your partner. There's a very big difference. I noticed that with relationship with D. D was somebody who he was really focused on, you know what? I want to be a good partner. I want to be a good boyfriend just to feel validated. It's just like, I'm a good boyfriend. When this ends, I know I didn't do anything wrong because like I'm a good boyfriend. That's what he cared about. And some people do this. I do have realized this, and I see this in other people's relationships as well too. It's like, yes, they may love the person, yes, they may care about the person, but they care more about their validation and rather than the authenticity of their feelings for that person or their partner, or to be a good partner for their partner. And it's important, like if you're going to be with somebody, it should be because you want your partner. You want to be the perfect person for your partner. You want to have a long-term relationship with your partner or partners. If it's long-term, it's polyamorous. Again, even in my dream scenario where me and E are dating and he's dating this new person he's with, and I get to date other people on the side, I'm just like, the dream scenario, I'm just like, it's not because we can be perfect partners for each other. I mean, perfect partners for ourselves in validation. It's because we all establish and love each other enough to be perfect partners for the other person, and give each other what the other person wants. God damn it, I hate that that's the dream scenario. Fucking Twilight ruined my life, because now I'm just like, man, everything could just end in a threesome. And everything could just end in a threesome. Couldn't it? Couldn't it? And again, this is when I realized I was like, I'm not going back to a monogamous relationship. Not for me. Sorry. No. Because that's the thing too. Even like if I'm with somebody and we're primarily monogamous, I don't want to close myself off from just like, I'm not gonna say like, oh, every other day I'm gonna do with somebody else, but like I'm not gonna close myself for opportunity. Like there's people I know, and which is originally when I like was my dream scenario when I first messaged I was just like, you know what? I'll message this person who lives in another country who I'm probably never gonna see, but if I ever do see them, maybe we can canoodle every now and then. Maybe we can just do the ups the naked tango together. Why not? That'd be fun. Because there's people who I know who I'm just like, live in different areas and stuff. Who I'm just like, if the opportunity came and we were in the same area, we would fuck. I'm gonna be honest about that. I don't want to close off the opportunity. I'm just like, because it's an opportunity that doesn't happen often. I'm like, oh, we fucking like, why not? Because like again, a lot of people hold on to the traditional belief. It's like, yes, and if this is you, that's fine. That there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone's different. And I used to think this way as well too. Like, sex is reserved for one person. Sex you have to do in like one monogamous relationship. Sex only means something, or sex is only valid for one person and everything. But sometimes sex is just sex, It's like just sex. It's like just fun. Sex is the experience you have with other people. And that's it. And I'm okay with that. But yeah. But yeah, my relationship with E kind of made me realize just like, yes, a lot of things about myself. One, I am open to non-traditional monogamous relationships. Two, yes, I love hard and I love heavy, and I don't stop loving that person. Me and him are going to take time away from each other. I really hope that there is a future for us. Selfishly, yes, I hope that me and him end up together. Selfishly. Should I wait for him? No. Should I hold myself back from opportunities because of it? No. Should I stop wanting that? I don't know. Most people will say yes. Other people would say, maybe the dreamers would say hold out for him. Me, I'm just going to live my life and not close that off as being a possibility, because again, sometimes when you know something, and it just feels like with him there's something that is just not finished, and I don't think is ever supposed to be finished. With other people, things are finished, things are done. Him, I don't think so. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So anyway, that is my long story about this. Yes, we're going to be talking about other things next episode. Please leave me know. Leave me a comment to know what to talk about next episode. I really want to talk about this because, like, one, I want to just get things over with, and I want to be able to kind of move past my series of mentioning E in every fucking podcast I did. Every podcast I've had to mention him. Because I do know I need time to heal. I do need time to have space away from him. I do need to be able to be okay with the idea of opening up to other people. Maybe I don't have to. Maybe I don't have to establish a relationship with anyone. I don't really want to right now. Give me another year, 2 years, 7 years. Give me 7 years. Then maybe we'll see where I'm at. But right now, I don't want it. And we'll see where we are. Because again, like the gap between like a couple of my boyfriends was like they're years apart. I don't have a boyfriend every other week or every other month or it's like every other year. I'm like, no, it's years apart where I'm just like, this is a person I actually want to see a future with and actually want to be with, and it actually works. We'll date for a while. I don't know how y'all do these short-term relationships like constantly. I'm like, I ain't about that life. I'm like, no, if we're not going to be long-term, or like the idea of long-term a possibility, what? Don't waste my time. Why am I going to be like, oh, okay, we're good for a couple of months, and then it's like, oh, we're gone now. I'm like, no, the fuck. Like, I end up like wanting to date E and going down to visit him in his country because I'm like, bitch, I'ma marry you. The fuck. Anyway, Crazy Cookie says, I have a friend who puts financial stability at top of his list, but he doesn't date those kind of people. He needs to feel like he is in control of most decision making, so he's having a lot of trouble. You know, it's funny. That is very similar to E. Where like, no, he doesn't like put too much validation into financial stability, but because again, he grew up with a machismo mentality, he has to be more of the man. So it's like he has to be able to be the provider in some ways. He doesn't want to feel emasculated. And me being able to like afford to go down there, afford to live there, afford to do all these things, just like, yes, that was a factor as well too. Also, he needs somebody who needs to be more a bit more dependent. And I am an independent woman. I don't need no man. I don't. I just want one. Only one. Him. Come back. No. Again, last time I'm going to mention him. I swear. Maybe. Hopefully. I got to stop. Anyway, we're going to talk about something else next episode. I don't know what yet. It's going to be something fun. We're going to get off these topics. Though, that's my thing, though. My favorite things to talk about is love and sex. Those are some of the most complicated feelings and emotions that you can have with relationships, with people, with individuals. So being able to talk about those, it's my favorite thing to talk about. Like, if we can talk about love and sex forever, that's why I really wanted to get I wanted to go back to school to get licensed to be a sex therapist, but like I don't want to go back to school and I don't want to pay that much money. So there is that. That's my thing. Maybe once school's cheaper, once the economy goes under and they're like, you know what, school for free, I'm like, okay, sex therapy, here we come. Other than that, until then, I'm just going to keep reading books and then writing essays. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway, guys, that has been today's episode. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back here next week. I'm going to be back on my regular streams next week as well, too. I had to take time off just because of scheduling conflicts. But yes, no, I'm always going to be on the podcast. The podcast is my baby. I love this child. I want to give a special shout out to a couple of people right now. One, I want to thank you, anyone who has supported me after my last video, after they saw that I was having a bit of an emotional breakdown. I really do appreciate that. It really does mean a lot to me. It touches my titties. I really appreciate my titties being touched. I'm gonna give a shout out to C. When I was having that emotional breakdown, I actually reached out to him to get his perspective of things and everything and get his support. It really did help. He gave good words. I'm gonna give a special shout out to my best friend, Tiana, who is the love of my life. That is my true soulmate. I love her to death. She is my ride or die. I wouldn't be me without her. She really has helped me a lot. And I also want to give a special shout out to E as well too. Know that I will always love you. Know I always care for you. And I do appreciate everything that you have done after our relationship and during our relationship. And I couldn't imagine being with anybody as amazing as you are, which is the problem. So anyway, again, we'll talk about different things next episode. I don't know what yet. I gotta poop. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Stay awesome. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye. Where's the thing?